Hello, shout out to everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And in this particular video, I want to teach you the Excel add functions. Okay, before I proceed, I'd like you, if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and also like the videos to get to a wider audience and a wider reach if this is what you want to learn. Okay, on my screen today, I have this particular spreadsheet and I'll be telling you more about this spreadsheet. Okay, like I used to say before I tell my student anything about spreadsheet, I would like to let you know what this spreadsheet is all about. Before you work on any data sets, first of all, understand what a spreadsheet is all about. Right now on my screen, you will see a spreadsheet containing dates, order ID, product, salesman, region, customer, selling price, and profit. These are the headers for the sheet, and it carries the products that are being sold. Let me say I am a wholesaler and I sell these three products called product one, product two, and product three. Okay, for every product sold, my salesperson documents the number of customers that comes in, the selling price of that product, and the profit made. Okay, I have three salesperson, which is Adam and Adam and who again? Calvin and the rest. But I'll be providing this spreadsheet for you guys in the description section of my video so I can go through it. So basically, this spreadsheet is all about sales. Okay, I have salesmen who does sales for me, and I also have the documentation of all sales that are being made for that particular month. And right now, I am really concerned about knowing the total number of customers, okay, that comes to buy my product, and also the total selling price, and as well as the total profits. These are all the sales generated for one particular month. So I like to know the income that I made for that month, or the profit I made for that month, and the number of customers. So those are the questions that comes with this particular spreadsheet. Let me show you this. Let me display the question on the screen so that you can see it clearly. All right, let me open it with photos so that you can get to see these questions and understand. Once you understand a data set, you'll be able to resolve any kind of questions that comes with the data set. All right, it's all about knowing what the data set represents. Like I told you, in this case, it's the data set represents the sales that are being generated for a particular month. Let me say the whole of January, February, March, April, and the rest. Those were the sales I made. Okay, now these are the questions that comes with this particular data set. I'm sorry, I have to. You can see on my screen here, considering the data set for sales of items. Let me push this up. Determine the total amount of products sold. The total amount of products sold. Now, if you go to this spreadsheet, you're going to see selling price of each of the product. This is product one, and it was Adam that sold the product in the region of North, and 8 customers bought product one, and they are selling it at the price of 7,164, and the profit made from this product is 844 naira. Sorry, I did not include the naira. Let me include it right here. Okay, so that's the currency. Okay, yes. So these are the profit generated from the sales per product. So don't worry about what kind of product it is. It could be any kind of product. Product one could represent iPhone or so, but it could be anything that is sellable. I just decided to use product one for tutorial purpose. Okay, these are the questions attached. Determine the total amount of products sold. This is the selling price for this product one, 7,164. And that person sold product one at 7,896. So I want to determine the selling price of all the products that have been sold from the beginning of the month of January to July. So that is the question that comes into my that I want to find out about. Then secondly, I want to determine what was the total number of customers that purchased products for all the month? Okay, sorry, this data set is contains sales of product for from January to July. So we want to resolve those questions from January to July, not for a particular month. Okay. In subsequent tutorials, I'll be resolving questions that involves particular month. Okay. So that is question 2. What was the total number of customers that purchased the product? Okay. Total number of customers. Where answers the question, you can see here is number of customers. So here we'll answer that question. I'm just showing you how you can be able to sort out data set. Then the third one says calculate the total profits made for that day. Sorry, it's not supposed to be that day, it's supposed to be for the whole month. So I'm going to change this, and yes guys, let's proceed to resolving this particular question. Like I told you about this data set is a data set that contains the products I sell. Okay, and I sell this product in different regions of the world. It could be of Nigeria rather, because we are using Nigerian currency here. So in the north, product 1 is selling well. In the north as well, product 1 is selling well. In the north, product 2 also is selling well. So part of the question says determine the total amount of products sold. The total amount of products sold that question can be resolved with this particular column. Now, for every data set has each columns that resolves that a question. For every data set have each column that resolves a question. This selling price is the selling price of what? Product 1. Okay, I can decide to sell product 1 at 7,164 for some particular customers because they are my customers, and I can come here and now decide to sell that same product 1 at 7,896 naira. Yes, it's still business. Okay, so I want to determine the selling price, the total selling price for the month of January to July. Okay, so how am I going to resolve that? This column here, and like I say, when you're answering any question involving data set, understand the data set and understand which column does what, answers that question. So this column here, column G, answers the question of the total sales generated for the month. And for me to determine that total sales, I'll be using a function called sum function in Excel. Okay, I'm sure you all know sum function in Excel. I'll teach you how to use it. Okay, if you don't know how to use it, I'll teach you how to use it. Now, if I want to determine the total selling price that have sold all products from January to July, I'll just come down to this place here called what? I can just come here. This is the ending part of the spreadsheet. So I could just do what? I could just type total sales. Total sales. I can make it big so that it looks quite different from. Let me make it bold and increase the font. Total sales. Now this is the column G, where you can find the total selling price of all the products. Okay, so I want to determine the total sales for all the products in the first quarter of the year. So two things you need to put in consideration when you want to determine something like that is to know the function to use. Like I said earlier, I will be using a sum function. A sum function is what we're going to be using. Okay, and secondly is to know the cell range. What do I mean by cell range? Cell range is just the part that covers that side you want to make calculation for. Remember, we are making use of this column G to resolve that question. So the part that answers that question is from column G, what? G2. That is the cell reference. The cell reference that answer the question is from column. We want to start our sum function from column G2. Okay, G2 to what? To G1326. Okay, so that is our cell range. Okay, that is the path that we are going to follow to perform this calculation, otherwise known as cell range. Remember, I told you earlier, if you're performing any function in Excel, if you're performing some function in Excel, if you're performing any function in Excel, know the function that will solve that question and also know the cell range which you want to cover. Okay, so the sum function in Excel is implemented by saying is equals to sum. You can see it right here on your screen. Then you enter the cell range. Then Yeah, guys, welcome back. Then you enter the cell range. What is the cell range for this particular uh, 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 column? You can see if the selling price starts from what? G2, which is this one here, G2, and it ends in where? G1326, which is here. So we are telling Excel is equals to sum from G2 to G2 to G1326. This is what you're going to enter on your computer. Sum from G2 to G1326. The moment you call this particular, this thing is called the cell range. This from G2 ratio G1326 is the cell range where this sum function is going to be performed. So you can see if you call a cell range, the moment you call the cell range, all that range of the cells gets what? Highlighted. You can see here it starts from G2. If you said instead of G2 you said G3, it's going to start from where? G3. Let me show you an example now. Let me change this G2 to G3. Let's see the range is going to cover. Can you see it has left G2, which is this one, to start from what? G3 to perform the calculation. Sorry, it has already exited that. Let me come back again. Oh, it has even calculated for me. So we don't want it to start from G3, we want it to start from what? G2. Okay, the moment you call the range, that range gets what? Highlighted. So this is how the sum function should be used. You first of all know where you're going to place it, and also you know the cell range you want to cover. So we are done, and this is the formula for using the sum function in Excel. When you're done, you do what? Press the enter button. So 8,699,369 naira was the total money generated for the first quarter of the year from January to June. Is it clear, guys? As simple as that. We just learned how to use the sum function. Now let's go to the next question. The next question says, what was the total product? What was the total number of customers that purchased the product? What was the total number of customers that purchased the product? How are we going to determine the total number of customers that purchased the product? Let's get back to the heading section of the data set. Now, this is the column that answers the question of determining the total number of customers that purchased the product, because this column here is for what? Customers. Okay, so how can we determine the total number of customers? We have to use the sum function, and we also need to find the cell range. So the cell range is now from F, because it's in column F. Remember when we were doing the cell range for this one, because it was in column G, but right now it's in column F. So the cell range is going to be F2. F2 to what? F1326. Okay, so we're going to place that right here. Let's see. Sorry, I didn't place this how it should look like, but let me cut this right here. I want to cut this, Ctrl CX. Let me paste it right here, Ctrl V, and increase the size and make it bold. So the next question says the total number of customers. Total number of customers, I'll be using this to denote it. Total customers. So guys, for the total number of customers, I'll be using this to denote the total number of customers. Let me make it bold, and let me increase the font. Total customers, total number of customers. So I would like to extend this so it doesn't affect. So let me have a call right now. Okay, for us to determine the total number of customers, we'll have to extend this particular column here, that there will be a lot of space. Remember, this particular column here, column F, talks about number of customers. So, and the cell range is from F2. What I mean by F2 is that it's here, it's starting here, and this can be found in row 2, column F, so we call it F2. So from there down to F2 to here. So we are going to use the sum function. Is equals to sum F2 ratio F1 3 to 6. So the moment you call that cell range and you close the bracket, it's going to close. Okay, so we have 10,624 customers buying some things. So we've been able to answer those two questions. Then lastly, the last question: calculate total profit made for that per day. How do we calculate for the total profit made for that? So we can call here total profit. It doesn't matter whichever space you choose to write it. So let's click the bold and increase the font size. Total profit, where can we find profit? Profit is actually the last column. Yes, let me adjust this camera to the side. This is profit, which is the last column. So it is being defined by the cell range H2 to H1326. So the total profit, you can put this under the profit as section, whichever way you choose to place them. You must not place them here, 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 whichever way you choose to place them. So I want to find my profit here is equals to sum. The moment you input the Excel function, you call the cell range H2 to H1326. So you remember now you are here calling a cell range that is here, and you can see here being highlighted. So if you hit the enter button, you can find out that you made over. Okay, why it's showing 320281? Because we are not under the profit column. If you come here and insert that function, is equals to some bracket open H2 ratio H1326. I wanted it to give us in naira. Why is showing hash hash hash? Because the space will not be able to contain it, so we have to extend the space. So we made over 3,202 naira 811 watts. Kobo 811 naira 2.26. So this is the profit, this is the total sales, and this is the total number of customers, guys. So right now we've already been able to answer all of these questions that comes with this data set. Determine the total amount of all products sold, determine what was the total amount of customers that purchased the product for the first quarter of the year, and we calculated the total profit per day. So if you have any questions, you can DM me and I'll be able to respond to your question. The link to this data set will be provided in the description section. So it's advisable you also watch the video and download the link to the data set. And I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. So if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button. And do have a wonderful day. Catch you out.